everyone, and welcome to this live class. I'm Jenna, and today we are going to be talking about a step-by-step guide on creating looks that sell, and that just kind of goes beyond some of the normal things that you may be decorating, like t-shirts and hoodies. And I've been super inspired by the weather lately, so if you are on kind of like the north side of the country, then it's constantly cold, so it's starting to warm up, and I'm getting really excited about that warm weather. So because I was inspired by that, I'm doing today a step-by-step guide on creating personalized beach items and accessories. So before we've shown you how to decorate flip-flops and tote bags that were kind of beach specific, but I wanted to take it beyond the realm of that and do an oversized print and then also a cap print, which isn't something we typically do a lot of during our lives. So I really wanted to utilize the cap press here. I see some of you guys commenting in. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. If you guys have any questions throughout the broadcast at all, just let me know. I'll be filtering back through the comments. All right, so what kind of really got this topic started was a Get This Look series that we do here at the Stahls TV studios and provide to you guys on the Stahls blog. All right, so that series again is Get This Look, and we are constantly doing really unique, trendy, inspired designs, whether that's on apparel, accessories, hats, always looking at different finishes that you can achieve with anything with a heat press. All right, so we've dove into a lot of different products on there, but I encourage you guys to visit that blog, and we actually have a link for that. All right, so you can either scan the QR code to go directly to this link, which is the Stahls GTL. All right, GTL stands for Get This Look, not Gym Tan Laundry, if you're a Jersey Shore fan. But all you have to do is, my videographer is laughing at me. All you have to do is take your cell phone, all right? So whether you have a Apple or a Samsung, this works for any type of smartphone. All you have to do is bring up the camera and hover it over that QR code, and then it will pop that link up right for you so that you can subscribe. If you subscribe to this, you're going to be constantly updated with what's new, what apparel is trending in the industry, and also what type of different finishes that you can get. All right, so as I mentioned in the promo for this class, I told you guys that we were going to be working with Fashion Film Electric. Cue the angel voices, right? This color is my favorite. So we launched this just a few months ago, and this is one of our Fashion Film Electric colors, and the name I think is Seafoam. Nope, this is just the teal. All right, so for whatever reason I thought it was Seafoam because that's what it reminds me of, all right? It's a beachy color. But it really shines a really bright metallic, and that's exactly what we're going to be applying today. So that's the first heat transfer vinyl that we're going to be working with. So I'm just going over some of the accessories that you guys are going to need in order to recreate this design. So this Fashion Film Electric in teal, and then we're also going to be working with bright or neon punch. All right, so this neon punch color I grabbed because I think that it's going to be paired very nicely with the hat that we're going to be decorating to match this beach towel so that we can pair the items together. So if you're just joining, we're going to be creating a project using our Fashion Film heat transfer vinyl on a beach towel and a hat. All right, so talk a little bit about where I source the accessories. All right, so why I chose this beach towel is because it's super trendy, and I'm going to stand up for this so you guys can see the actual towel. All right, so what's trending a lot are the round beach towels. So you'll notice this it isn't a rectangular type of beach towel, it's round, and this is what we're seeing a lot trending for beach accessories that are selling a lot this year. All right, so this was sourced from Wholesale Boutique, so you can source these in bulk at a wholesale price. Right, and they're very easy to decorate it because the material is in a high pile. So whenever I go to heat apply this, it's not going to create a mark or anything because it's pretty flat and soft. Right, so whenever you're considering the type of towels that you want to decorate, you want to look for something that's not a super high pile. All right, so we will decorate that shortly. All right, and then we also sourced a cap from Wholesale Boutique as well. All right, so you can see that this isn't a structured cap at all. It's very dad hat-ish, if you will. All right, so a trend that is popular in caps is what you call a dad hat, and it's just a non-structured cap with a curved bill, and it's usually just a cotton, canvasy type of texture. All right, so that's what we're gonna put our neon punch on, and we're gonna actually be doing 2 locations for this accessory so that you can see a couple of unique ways that you can actually use the cap press with caps to offer something a little bit different than just your standard text across the visor portion. All right, doesn't look like we have any questions yet, just people commenting in. Hi, Daryl and Eddie, Josh. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for commenting in, and thank you for joining. All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to CADWorks Live. That's where we're going to get started because that's where I create all of my designs for the Get This Look items that we decorate. So I'm in CADWorks Live, and we have a monogram brought up. All right, CADWorks Live, again, is a free online artwork software that is available to our customers to use. All you have to do is go in and create an account with your email and a password. Nothing major, very simple to hook up. All right, and we have here a monogram frame and a scallop monogram font. So this is it's as basic as it gets when it comes to artwork creation because this is very simple stuff. All right, so I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna go through the process of recreating this because it's pretty self-explanatory as far as bringing in a monogram frame and choosing a font, but I just wanna let you guys know where I sourced everything from. All right, so we're gonna start with our monogram font there. This was purchased, or not purchased actually, because it was a free download from Free SVG Designs. All right, so this is where I sourced this font. All right, so you can see that you can get each monogram letter for creating that circle type of monogram that is scalloped on the edges. This is really popular because it takes a circle monogram and kind of takes it to the next level so it's not just basic. I see actually a lot of people who focus a lot on monograms at their shops, that they use this and sometimes don't even add a frame because the scallops are just enough. Now I wanted to make my design a little bit larger and add a little bit more to it. So I selected a frame which was also another free download from Hello SVG. Right, so you can see this is the monogram frame that I used here. Now you do want to have to like set up an account and everything with them in order, even though this was free, I still had to add it to my cart and essentially purchase it, even though it has a $0 amount, but that is how you can access this. But this is where you can source some free monogram frames. They point out that obviously you don't have to pay for it whenever you're setting up your account. Okay, so circle monogram frame. Again, that is from Hello SVG, and then the free scallop font was from Free SVG Designs. I get a lot of questions on where I source fonts and other elements like frames or any type of clip art or mascot. Typically, if it's for monograms, I go outside of the realm of my typical Great Dane graphics into some more crafty stuff. So you can find a lot of stuff on Etsy, but you can kind of work your way through Google as well and finding some trendy things that are free that you can download, such as the items that I just showed you. Another good source for that is lovesvg.com. If you guys know of any other sources where you can get some really cute stuff, go ahead and comment that in. I'm always curious on where everybody's sourcing their stuff. You might help someone else out as well. Okay. So then we are going to use this beachin text, and that's going to go on the front of our dad cap. All right, so the font that I used for this, and because I already welded this, it's not going to pop up, so I'm just going to go to my add text and type in my word. Sorry. All right, so we go to the font, and then I'm gonna go up to my fonts and select that category. This is all the fonts that I've uploaded over the years. And the font that I chose to use for this was, and I may pronounce this wrong, but the Adhesive script. All right, I think it's bubbly and cute for this type of effect that we're going for this, get this look. All right, so that is the Adhesive script. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And that is what was used for this text here. All right, so now you guys know where I sourced everything as far as artwork creation went. If you guys have any questions on that, please let me know. All right, let's head over to the heat press and apply. All right, we're going to start with our large oversized monogram print. We're actually going to print the center of this towel. So bear with me while I load this onto my 16 by 20 ply and actually try to find center of this. It's easier to lay it out on the floor and kind of map out where center is, whether it's a ruler or not. What I'm going to do actually is fold this and find center that way. All right. All right, so exactly where that was folded is where my hand is, right here, where I have it pinched. All right, so I'm looking at right about here is where I want to place my monogram. All right, so whenever you work with fashion film, you can either get this in a 20-inch roll or a 15-inch roll. I worked with a 15-inch roll for this. So I am going to just point out that that is my limit on how large I was able to make this design. If I wanted it to go bigger, you can print oversized prints with a 16 by 20 by just kind of moving things around and manipulating it so that you can hit it a couple times with a heat press and get it oversized. All right, so it looks like I'm about center just by holding out that towel. Another easier way to kind of find center for this would be to lay it out on the floor, tape it in place, and then bring it over to your heat press. All right, I don't want to have to do that for this live. I feel like that would be painful for you guys, so I'm not going to do that. I can't wait to find out if I'm actually center for this. All right, so fashion film applies at 320 degrees for 15 to 20 seconds, and it is a hot peel, so I can peel that back as soon as it's done applying. We're at a medium pressure for this as well. Fashion film is nice and soft and also a pretty thin product. It's like 88 microns thin, so it's still gonna feel soft on this accessory. So you can actually see, I don't know if you can tell from the camera or not, but because fashion film has a pretty lightweight feel to it, it's actually taking on the texture of the towel, but you can see it's not compromising the towel at all. It's not like this is getting scorched or melted or anything. Now I am gonna hit this one more time just because I know if I increase the pressure a little bit with fashion film, it'll really dig the product into that texture of the towel, and that's really the look that I'm going for this, is making it more texturized and make it look as if it's more of a part of the towel as opposed to something just sitting on it. So I'm just gonna do that by adding like the 5 seconds and just increasing my pressure to the max pressure, which is 9. All right, so now I'm getting even more texture from my product. All right, drum roll. Are we center? I'd say we got pretty close. All right, so I absolutely love this product on something like this, especially for summer whenever you're pairing something that's really contrasting it as opposed to something that's super matchy. If I were to put maybe a white fashion film on this, it probably would have gotten lost in the pattern of the towel. So whenever you're considering the type of color or finish that you want to use when personalizing an item like this, you want to make sure you're going with more of a contrast. All right, so this fashion film electric has a really nice metallic finish to it. Right, so you can see that it's really picking up the light from the studio lights in here. Right, and now it's going to pair perfectly with the cap that we're going to hypothetically sell this with so that we can create a packaged set for selling to our customers. All right, so we're gonna head over to the cap press here, and I'm working on getting this cap loaded onto this platen here. All right, so as I'm doing this, just to point out, I'm making sure that this seam is nice and flush against the edge of my platen here, so that I'm getting nice and tight. Now I'm going to pull this lever, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little red lever on the side of my heat press here. So that is going to tighten it down even more so that it's flush against that platen, and now there's nothing causing any uneven pressure. All right, so I'm taking that neon punch heat transfer vinyl, dropping that down. And what I'm doing whenever I'm trying to find center of this, of course there's that seam there, but there's also a couple other elements up here where it's sewn that also help me with lining this up. So I'm going with the center of my B and then the center of my, almost like the end of the N into my exclamation point. All right, so I don't have my small cover sheet, so I'm just going to apply it as is. All right, and this is just a cotton cap, so you don't have to worry about it scorching or anything. All right, it does auto open, so that's just going to lift automatically for me. One thing that I am a little bit worried about was the amount of pressure that I have. So there's a little pressure knob underneath this cap press that I'm going to increase here just a couple notches, because my pressure was actually reading between a 0 and a 1, and I just don't want to lift this up and risk that adhesive not adhering at that amount of pressure. So I'm going to lock this back down and apply for the full application with the right amount of pressure. It's not going to hurt it to hit it a second time, so just keep that in mind. If that ever happens to you, you can just hit it again and you won't risk damaging the heat transfer vinyl or even the product. All right, so my cap is complete, right? So we have our fashion film on there, but now we want to personalize it. As heat printers, we have the ability to print really unique locations on accessories and garments. So we want to use that to our advantage. So I'm going to drop the back of this hat on here. And I'm also going to increase my pressure because this seam here is a little bit thicker than the front seam, right? I don't know why, it just is. So I want to make sure I'm really dialing my pressure down. Now my lever is not really going to work for this process as well as the back because the front is kind of a little more domed, but I can try to push that down just to get this a little more flush. Right, you can see it actually just popped out, but as long as you're getting this nice and tight against there, you should be fine for application. I shouldn't say you should be, you will be fine for application, right? All right, so we'll go ahead and apply this, but I'm going to increase my pressure a little bit more. Fashion film does have a tacky carrier, but whenever it's being worked on round surfaces, it'll tend to lift. Once it's hit with the top platen, it will go in place. All right, I do see some questions coming in. So Laura asked, what do you think the selling price for the towel would be? All right, so that's a good question. And what I typically do to find pricing is look at what other customers are selling their items for. Now, keep in mind, anytime you want to come up with a sell price, you always want to take into consideration the amount of labor, overhead, and everything you're putting into that item. But a lot of people, if they're producing a lot of these at one time, they're probably not doing personalization, and people are willing to pay a little bit more for personalization, right? I've seen these go anywhere between $18 to $25, depending on the location and the demographic, right? So this is the completed cap. So you can see that we were able to get the front area and the back area, right? So whenever this is worn, this will be seen in the back with the personalization. I just used that same monogram that I used in the center of the towel and drop the size down. So there wasn't any additional work put into artwork for this. I just utilized that same monogram. Okay? All right, so now we can sell these together for a packaged price. So maybe I can sell this for $12 or $15 and this for $18, but maybe I can get $30 or $35 out of selling both of them together. All right, so that is the idea of packaging items together and creating unique stuff that your customers can buy. All right, so if you have customers that aren't typically buying this stuff for you, I would recommend showing mock-ups and just showing them more of what you can do, such as personalized items for upcoming seasons. All right, this really works well for seasonal type of items. All right, Abby asked, just joined, the source of the round beach towel was Wholesale Boutique. Right, that was also the source of the dad cap as well. Okay, so if you guys aren't that familiar with cross-selling, which is reaching your customers with new items, all right, so if this isn't something you typically do, you can cross-sell to your customers different things that they don't typically buy for you, so you can seem like a one-stop shop. This is exactly what we're going to be going over Monday morning on the morning show. Brandy Kramer will actually be joining me, so you guys can join us there. And we'll go over a lot of other ideas such as this when it comes to cross-selling and packaging different items together to get the most out of one sell. All right, Tabitha commented, I know this doesn't pertain to the video, but I adore your dress. Thank you. I found it at TJ Maxx. Yeah, I love that place. All right, so that's all for this live class. If you guys have any other questions, I'll revisit the broadcast a little later and go through any questions that you have, especially if you're watching this later and not live with us right now. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you Monday morning on the morning show.